CBS Sports' Emory Hunt talking about the mistake that Browns and other NFL teams must avoid in free agency.
Everybody can't be Sam Darnold.
Yep.
And Sam Darnold wasn't Sam Darnold until 5 times later, right? So don't go out and find somebody's backup and pay them elite money. We saw that with Matt Flynn. And when you think about Malik Willis, and I'm a big Malik Willis guy. He was my number 1 quarterback in his draft class. It's fascinating when they're talking about Malik Willis now, and you think about in his career, he started less games than Shedeur Sanders. So it's almost like people are just focusing on the now and not what they thought about him initially. He always was this type of guy. He probably should still be in Tennessee. But you don't go and find someone's backup to try to pay them elite money and think you're going to get a different result. Because, again, you got to look at the ecosystem around why Sam Darnold became who we thought he could be when he was coming out of USC. So if you're going to look at a backup, if you're going to look at somebody, look at who has played well. I keep throwing out the name Zach Wilson. That was someone that left New York, did well in Denver when we saw him in the preseason, and then he did well in the preseason when we saw him down in Miami. That would be someone you can give a cautious contract to. But stop paying these guys like they're elite, have arrived already, when they're still having to prove themselves. That's where a lot of teams also get in trouble a lot in terms of free agency.
Yeah, Chris, I get that. Especially, Willis looked good when he played, but I think it's 7 starts. So I understand that thought, but that's what happens because everybody says if you get your quarterback, you're good to go.
Well, this is where they really have to do their due diligence because it is tempting to look at Malik Willis and say, okay, look what he did with Green Bay, but, circumstances and everything, and you're just coming in for you're sort of the backup who's coming in for spot starts. It's not. I don't think. I mean, I think teams are aware of the backups when they're preparing for an opponent, but they're not preparing for the backup unless they know the backup is going to start. They're preparing for whoever's going to start. So I mean, how much does that play into it? But I. I don't know if they're in the Malik Willis. I don't think they're in the Malik Willis sweepstakes. Yeah, and I got to stand by what I said. I think it was last week. I think the more likely option is they get one out of the draft than they go out and sign one or trade for one. Now, I could be wrong, but I think there is. I sort of lean toward the camp of when they do finally kind of settle on the path they want to go with that position these next couple of months. I think it is we've got 3 guys on the roster. Let's go add another young arm because you don't want to wait until you absolutely know that you have your guy before you stop trying to find that guy. I mean, so go draft a guy, another rookie contract instead of, what could be, when you're just sort of coming out out of the darkness on what was that Deshaun Watson contract. I don't want no, and you still have a lot of dead money tied up, and I know they've got ways to smooth things over and all that stuff. But at the same time, I just think there's, they have to, they have to be somewhat fiscally responsible with, especially, again, until they sort of get out from under this Watson deal.